Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nicole, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can make your very own crochet sweater sleeves. These sleeves make the perfect crochet accessory to add on to any fall or winter look. They're super versatile, and this is a beginner-friendly project as well, so regardless of your crocheting skill level, you should be able to make this project in just a few hours. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Crocheting, where I post weekly pattern releases and updates, as well as subscribe to my newsletter on thecrocheting.com, where you'll be the first to know about these pattern releases, as well as receive exclusive offers and promotions. So here's a size chart. You can pause to select which size you're going to be making. I'm going to be making a size small, and you can follow along by using the numbers in the parentheses to select your designated size. To start out, I'm going to be using the Lion brand Heartland yarn in the shade Black Canyon, and then I'm also going to be using a 6mm crochet hook. To start out on the first sleeve, I'm going to be making a chain of 37, but you can look to the numbers below to see how long your chain should be, and I'm just going to make this chain of 37, and when I loop it together, it should fit comfortably around the widest part of my shoulder. So now I've got my chain completed. I'm gonna actually go ahead and chain one more, which is not going to count as a stitch. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and single crochet in the next chain from my hook. And then just single crochet in each chain across. And I'm going to do this until I finish with one more single crochet in that very last chain. Okay, so I've just finished single crocheting across my chain. I'm now going to locate the last stitch and the first stitch and connect the two by making one more single crochet into that first single crochet of last round. And now I have a loop, so I'm going to continue single crocheting around my entire loop. Okay, so now that I've arrived back at my starting point, I'm going to leave a stitch marker so I can keep track of how many rounds I'm making, and then I'm just going to repeat that process of single crocheting in each stitch around. And I'm going to do this until I've made a total of 71 rounds of single crochet stitches, but I would suggest trying on your sleeve at the end of this point to make sure that it fits comfortably from your shoulder all the way down to the end of your wrist. So now that I've finished my 71 rounds, for the next round, I'm going to be making a single crochet decrease in every stitch all the way around. So essentially, I'm going to be cutting my number of stitches in half. And so I'm just combining two single crochets into one with a decrease, and I will make a decrease all the way around until I reach my original stitch. Okay, I've decreased my rounds by half the number of stitches. So now to make the sleeve cuff, I'm starting with a chain of 8, and that 8th chain is not going to count as a stitch. So we'll have 7 total single crochets. Here I'm single crocheting into that second chain for my hook and single crocheting then in each chain across. Okay, and then one more single crochet in the last chain. So now I have 7 single crochets completed, and I'm going to then locate the closest stitch on the sleeve and make one slip stitch into that closest stitch to connect. I'm then going to slip stitch again into the next closest stitch on the sleeve, then turn to face my small single crochet extension here, and then I'm just going to single crochet into the back loops of each of these single crochets across. So single crochet in back loops only of each of these 7 single crochets until I reach the end. done, and now I'm going to chain 1, which will not count as a stitch, turn, and single crochet in the back loops of each stitch across. And I'm going to repeat this process around the entire sleeve hole, making sure I'm slip stitching into the closest 2 stitches on the sleeve hole, turning and single crocheting in the back loops of my 7 single crochet stitches. So here's my final result. I've fastened off, and now I will set this sleeve aside and repeat this entire process for the other sleeve. So now I have both sleeves completed. I'm going to take one and slip stitch into any of those first stitches of the very first round of that sleeve. It does not matter where you slip stitch, but once you have that complete, you're going to then make the designated amount of stitches. For your chain, I'm making a chain of 23, and you're just going to make your chain connected to that first round of your first sleeve. Finishing up. So now I have my chain of 23. I'm going to connect it via a slip stitch to any of those single crochets on the first round of the opposite sleeve. So now both sleeves are connected by that chain. I'm then going to slip stitch into the next closest stitch on that sleeve, turn to face my chain, and single crochet across. So you can see I've already gone ahead and single crocheted in each chain across for a total of 23 single crochets. And now I'm just going to slip stitch into the closest stitch on the opposite sleeve's first round. And then, similar to the sleeve cuff, slip stitch again into the closest stitch on that sleeve. And now I will turn to face my chain of 23, which is now single crochets. And I'm just going to single crochet in each of those 23 stitches across. No back loops this time, just regular single crochet in each stitch across. And I'm going to do this until I have a total of this many rounds completed. Okay, so I've finished my 10th row of single crochets, and now I'm just going to fasten off and weave in all of the ends of my project so that it can be ready to wear. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did make this pattern or you still found it helpful, I would love to hear how your experience was. So please shoot me an email or send me a DM on Instagram and tell me about your experience. And be sure to hit subscribe. I post a new crochet tutorial every month, so you don't want to miss those. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.